Hey everybody, it's Dr. Donny. So we are going live today. We are talking about Journaling 101, the hows and the whys. So if you're joining me, thank you for joining me, of course. And as I'm going through this, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything, please feel free to write it in the comments, and I will definitely get to it as we go through it, and I'll answer your questions near the end of it. So what are we talking about today? Obviously journaling. Now this is a time where I feel more than ever we can benefit from this practice. It's just people are struggling with mindset. Obviously it's a stressful time. So yeah, if this is you, this is a practice that has worked tremendously for me, and I want to share that in the hopes that it'll work for you as well, and you can take some positivity from it. So again, as I'm going through, I see some people coming on. If you do have any questions, comments, feedback, please write it in the comment box, and I will get to that as we go through it. But personally, what I have found beneficial, we're going to go through the whys, and then we're going to go to how to do it. So there are two ways that I've found this practice to be really beneficial. So the first one is for organizing my mind. So I got a lot going on, and obviously, especially in this current climate, there's a lot of stresses, and a lot of times when I'm lying in bed, my mind will go all over the place and I have trouble falling asleep. And I have really found with this practice, it helps to organize my mind. So if you're someone that struggles with that, this is something that could help you. And then the other side of it is the focusing on the good. I think just naturally we tend to often focus on the negative in a lot of situations, and you have to work on that to make yourself more optimistic. And this is a practice that every single day consistently I'm writing out things I'm grateful for. I'm focusing on what's good, and it's almost retraining my mind to see the good in the world as opposed to the bad. It takes practice, but the more you do this, the more good you see. And I've found that's been a massive benefit for me. So we're going to talk today about 3 different ways that you can journal. And before we get into the 3 different ways, just some quick tips on this. I have found that journaling needs to be done handwritten, okay? There's just something about writing on paper. You know, sometimes people will do it into a computer or into their phone, write things, but it's not the same when you sit with a piece of paper in a journal and you just write this out. So I'd encourage you to consider handwriting it. When you're going to do this, make sure you have a quiet environment with no distractions. Put your phone away, close the door, tell your family this is your me time, and just have some quiet space so you can really focus. Another tidbit would be to go all in. So this is not something you can half-ass. Like, you have to give it everything you've got and really try and focus. Don't give up because it's tough the first couple times you do it. Anything that's new is going to be tough the first couple times you do it. So give yourself some grace and just keep trying, and you will get to the benefit of it. And then the last thing is, you can really do this any time of the day, but you want to make it a habit. So whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's before you go to bed, maybe it's after you've had lunch, before you start your afternoon, whatever it is, make it a habit and be consistent. That is how you get the benefit. Just like anything else, any other lifestyle choice and habit, it has to be a habit. It has to be consistent, and give it some time. So now let's get into the 3 different ways that you can do this. Now the first way, I cannot take any credit for. This is something that I learned from Rachel Hollis, who is a motivational speaker and an author. She wrote a book called Girl Wash Your Face. It's awesome, and she is someone I follow quite a bit, and she has taught me this practice, and I do it literally every single day. So I'll show you my little morning journal. She has a program called Rise. So I did this program with her in Toronto a while back, and so basically every morning I journal on a couple things. The first thing I do is I write out 5 things that I am grateful for. And I should say, if you listen to my webinar on morning success routines, you'll have heard this content, but I'm going to say it again because it's super important. So I write out 5 things that I'm grateful for. Now, I don't write out big things. Like, I don't write my family, my job. It's got to be the small, little, joyful, grateful moments of your day, something that's happened in the last 24 hours that has made you feel happy or something you're grateful for. So the littlest things, like my son said a joke that made me laugh, or my spouse gave me a hug that just filled me with joy. I had a great cup of coffee. Like the little tiny things, the sun was shining and I went for a nice walk. So 5 things that you're grateful for, the small joys in life that have happened in the last 24 hours. Now, the nice thing about this is, as I said at the beginning, is when you do this practice, you start to see more joyful things. You find more joy in the little things, like, yesterday one of the things on my list is my son and I went for a walk and we saw that there are some flowers and plants starting to bloom. Like, you recognize those things when you make this a daily habit and practice. So that's what I do first. I write out 5 things that I'm grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours. The second thing I write out is 10 dreams that I have. Now, these are dreams that I've sat down and done the work and thought of, where do I want my life to be in the next 10 years? And so I've written these things out and I write them as if they've already happened. So I've achieved this. I have traveled to this place. Whatever it is for you, I have this job. I've graduated from this program. So whatever your goals and dreams, whether they're big, whether they're small, you write them out every single day so it makes you focused on where you're going and what you want. And you write them out, like I said, as if they've already happened. And there's huge power psychologically in doing that. So I write those out. And then the last thing I do is I write out what my goal for the day is. So whether, you can look at one of the 10 things that you just wrote and what you're going to focus on for that day. This morning I wrote out, I'm going to deliver a kick butt webinar for my followers. So just what your intention for the day is, just something that you want to achieve. I mean, right now in this time of quarantine, it could be, I'm just going to get dressed today. I'm going to take a shower today. Wherever you're at, it doesn't matter, but something that is a goal for the day. And then I've actually started doing one other thing. I've been writing one affirmation or empowering thought, whether that's today's going to be a great day, or I am healthy, I am happy, I live a joyful life. Lately I've been saying a lot of like, every little thing's going to be all right. And I just write that out and I own it and I think it. So this is the number one of the 3 different ways to journal. And this has brought a lot of joy and positivity to my life. And so I wanted to share it with you. It's a practice I do every morning and I would encourage you to do it. So that's the number 1 way. Now, again, I see there's some new people that have joined. If you have any questions, feedback, please write it in the comments. I'd love to know what you're getting out of this and I will check that as we go along. So please, if you feel free to write down what's going on or if you have any questions. Now, the second way that you can do journaling is totally different from what I just did. The first thing I said is very structured. The second's the complete opposite. And that's what I do in this journal. It's interesting, it says Find Joy. If you know me, I'm doing a kind of Finding Joy program here. So what I do in this journal is I literally just set a timer and I write. Whatever comes to my mind, I just start writing. And when you set a timer, I would encourage you not to just do this for 5 minutes, literally do it for 20 or 30 minutes and just sit there. And it's whatever thoughts come to your mind, you literally just write them. And there's something magical that happens mentally and emotionally for us when you get to the point where you don't have anything else to write and you're just sitting there. So maybe you've written what some of your challenges are, what some positive things have happened, whatever thoughts are in your mind, whatever you're stressing about, you write it out, and then you just sit there. And like I said, something magical happens in that quiet time where if you just keep persistent and you keep sitting with it, some amazing lessons and revelations and solutions come to you. It's turned into a little bit of like a pep talk for myself. It's kind of like, if my best friend was saying these things, what would I say? What advice would I give them? That's what I find happens in this session. And it can really clear your mind and help you with whatever struggle you're going through. So that's the second way that I would say to journal. I like to do this in the evening, especially if I've had a lot going on and I want to sort through my thoughts. But you really can do this anytime, but that's when I really like to do this type of journaling. Okay, So now the third way that you can journal is, again, different from the other two, but this is a little more structured, where you ask yourself specific questions. And I have a list of questions, and basically you write the question out and you just write and you answer it. So there's a lot of different questions you can ask, and let me just kind of run through them. These are different ones that I've played with over some time, but if you're doing this in the morning, you could write, like, what would make today a great day? And you just write that out and you think, what would it be? And you just start writing. What would make it a great day? And then, obviously, after you've written the things, you try and do those things, so you achieve them, so you do have a great day. Or if it's at the end of the day that you're doing this, what was great about today? So you can ask yourself that, and then just as you're going to bed, instead of focusing on the negative things of the day, why not write out all the things that were positive and great about your day? Okay, so it's, again, I mentioned at the beginning, changing your thought process and going from more of a pessimistic to an optimistic. Well, this is a way to do that. You have to practice that, and you have to train yourself to do that. And this is one way. Every single day, write out, what were the great things? What made today great? Another thing you could ask yourself is, what is a recent lesson you've learned? So write that out and think about it. What's something, it causes you to focus on what's happened in your life that could have been really positive in what you learned, so you can take that into other situations. What is a goal you recently hit? You can write out that. What are you most proud of? I really like that one, because again, it's forcing you to focus on what is good, or what are you grateful for? I mentioned that's one of the things I do in the mornings. But why not do that at another time? What are you grateful for? And then just sit there and just start writing and writing and writing. A couple other here. What is something kind you did for someone else? So why not, again, instead of focusing on some of the negative things, focus on what good you've provided to the world, and what are simple things, from opening a door to whatever you do in your profession. If you've helped someone, or a way you helped a friend or a family member, write that out and feel good about it. And then the last one I'll have you consider is, what has made you smile lately? So you can see a theme here of really focusing on the positive things. So again, the retraining and forcing yourself, because when you do this in this type of way, it's almost like for the rest of your life, you're focusing, you're finding a way to see the good in the world. So I would encourage you, those were the 3 different ways to do it. Like I said, the morning routine that's structured, the evening routine of just writing, or the third point here of just answering any set questions. So now I see there are some people that are live on the call. If anybody does have any questions or any comments, or I'd love to know what you're getting out of this material, please feel free to write it in the comments, and I can answer them. But that is really the information that I wanted to provide, to encourage you, if you haven't done this before, to start up this practice. It can be so positive for you. Of course, if you have any other further questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm just going to see if anyone, I don't have any questions on here yet, so I'm going to turn off the call, but if anybody does have any questions, please reach out to me, or if you're watching this, at another time, not live, don't be afraid to reach out. I would love to know what you found from this, what you found beneficial, and how it's influenced you. Thank you so much for watching. Have the best day, and I hope you find some joy in your day, and I hope you take this to heart and start practicing some of these things. Have a good one. Bye.